Hello and welcome to the podcast. This is Ron's Amazing Stories, where we play tales to take you away from today. Well, here we are at the last show of the month of Spooky 2019. On this show, we are jam-packed with great stories. We have an original fiction tale from Heather, who asks the question, what if no one notices me?
Oh no, that happened to me.
Dave plays a game of ding-dong ditching, and a guy from Iowa sent in a creepy tale for Halloween. Then we head to the realm of Lights Out for one of the golden age of radio's scariest ever. It is titled Poltergeist. But before we get to any of that, we have the last installment of the special 5-Minute Mysteries. This one has a special actor and friend who plays the part of Sherlock Holmes. And it all starts now.
Another 5-Minute Mystery.
This 5-Minute Mystery is being brought to you by Halloween, a time of year where the whole world stops for a moment to reflect on truly scary stuff. I'm reminded of this famous quote. I've seen enough horror movies to know that any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly. Now, here is our story. Last time we left Dr. Fangfest ripped apart by a chainsaw, of all things. The police department is stumped by the case, so they have called in the great detective, Sherlock Holmes. Will the good doctor make it through the night? I wouldn't count on it.
Well, Chief, Sherlock was here looking over the crime scene and all, and he didn't say much. Dr. Fangfest has been taped back together, and I posted a squad car out front. I'm heading out now. I gotta take the kids trick-or-treating.
Hello. Yes, this is Dr. Fangfist. Now wait, you can't possibly kill me again. After all, I am not a cat and I don't have 9 lives. You hired a what team? Oh, SWAT team.
What's that, Chief? No, the guys in the squad car say they didn't hear a thing. Funny thing, that, because it sure looks like a SWAT team surgically hit the place. The doctor never had a chance. Hold on a minute, Chief. Sherlock Holmes is here.
My good man, I know who committed these crimes, and furthermore, I know how. I will tell you after we listen to this strange ghost story from New Mexico.
This story comes from Dwayne Watley from Santa Fe, New Mexico. Dwayne writes, I hear you like strange stories from New Mexico. Here's my entry. I was driving home from Santa Fe to Las Vegas. Now, before you think this is going to be a long story, I'm talking about Las Vegas, New Mexico. There is a lot of lonely road going into that city. I was about a half an hour out when I see on the side of the road an old broke-down car. There beside it was an even older man with his thumb out. I stopped and asked if he needed help, to which he said, "Oh my, yes." He hopped in the car and said he needed to get to Las Vegas. We drove off, and right off the bat I thought the guy was kind of strange. He was talking like he was from another era. He said his name was Rockford, but his friends call him Rocky. He talked a lot about Roswell, but it was the way he was talking. You would think that it all just happened. I ignored it because it was nice to have someone to chat with. Just before we got to town, he said that this was fine and that I could drop him off here. I pulled over at a diner. He hopped out, waved, and said goodbye. As I started to drive away, I happened to look back. He was gone. I mean, gone. There's no way he could have made it to the diner, and there was nothing else there. I went back to look. Nothing. He had simply disappeared. Now, I know it was a crazy thing to do, but I had to do it. I drove back to where I picked the guy up, and, of course, the car, too, was gone. In fact, there was nothing there. I drove back to the diner and went inside. I must have had a certain look because the waitress asked me, "Is everything okay, honey?" I told her my story, and after a bit of silence and a giggle or two, she had told me that I had just met Rocky. The funny thing is that I had not told her his name. Dwayne Watley, Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Okay, Sherlock, what's the solution to all this?
Simple deduction. In each case, Dr. Fangfest was alone, first with the gunshot, then the dynamite, followed by the cattle stampede, chainsaw massacre, and then a supposed SWAT team that nobody saw or heard.
Yeah, get on with it. I know all this.
What you may not realize is in the corner of this room is a transcendental warp gate to another dimension. It's elementary, my dear copper. Your murderer is an alien from another time and place.
Yeah, right.
I will simply enter this gate and apprehend the fiend, and your case will be solved.
Well, Chief, that's what he said, so I put Dr. Fangfest back together, and, well, he closed the gate thingy. So, I think we can close the case. What's that? Yeah, thanks, Chief, but I really have to wonder what's going to happen to Mr. Holmes. Maybe we'll find out in the month of Spooky 2020.
So it appears that it was aliens that had a grudge towards Dr. Fangfest. But the question is, why? And what about Sherlock Holmes? Where is he now, and how will he get back now that the warp gate is closed? These and many other questions will be answered next year during the month of Spooky 2020. This 5-Minute Mystery was brought to you by Halloween. Have a good one. Well, this is the last show for the month of Spooky 2019. I want to thank everyone that sent in stories and took part in the shows. I also appreciate the story suggestions and want to say thank you to Kyle Moore from Fort Smith, Arkansas, who wanted to hear today's story, Poltergeist. This has been one of the best months of Spooky ever, with a download rate of about 660 per day. Also, I hope you enjoyed the extra podcast each week. That was a challenge getting 2 shows out, but it was a fun challenge. Next week, we'll go back to our normal schedule of the blog posting on Tuesdays and the podcast on Thursdays. Now, I may play around with Tuesday podcast again in the very near future. I'm thinking of having Tuesday's show dedicated to your stories and Thursday being interviews, OTR productions, or classic tales. It's just an idea so far, and I have yet to sell my radio producer. So if you're out there, Jason, listening, let's talk. I received this email from Saul Curtis, who lives in the great state of Texas. Ron, you are the best. I listen to the podcast each week with my mother, who just had her 101st birthday. Do you think you could give her a shout out on the show? It would mean a lot. Her name is Mira Curtis, and she lives in assisted care. Saul. Well, Mira, happy birthday. I'm guessing it's belated, but thank you so much for listening to the show, and I hope your day was full of family and friends. 101 years is quite the feat, and I congratulate you. Happy birthday, Mira. One last note for today. This past week, I had the pleasure of being a guest on Jim Harold's Halloween Video Party 2019. I had so much fun doing that show, and I want to thank Jim publicly for the invitation. I was on for roughly an hour talking about everything from stories to my thoughts on ghosts and spirits. If you missed it, you can watch the replay on Jim Harold's Facebook page. I came in at about an hour in and stayed about an hour. So if you want to see that show, I will also have the link in the show notes. I also want to thank Jim for something else. That voice you heard playing the part of Sherlock Holmes in the 5-Minute Mystery today was none other than podcast mogul Jim Harold. Jim, thank you for doing that for me. I owe you a visit on Campfire now. You are the best. And now, this message from Audible. Today's podcast is being brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook and a 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/Ron's Amazing Stories. They have over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, computer, Kindle. Whatever you have, you can listen to Audible on it. So what am I listening to right now? I am a true fan of science fiction, and my monthly choices at Audible trend that way. One of the best books that I have purchased comes from the pen of Arthur C. Clarke. It is the classic tale Rendezvous with Rama, narrated by Peter Gammon. At first, only a few things are known about a celestial object that astronomers dub Rama. It is huge, weighing more than 10 trillion ton, and is hurtling through the solar system at an inconceivable speed. A space probe confirms the unthinkable. Rama is no natural object. It is an interstellar spacecraft. Earth science prepare for mankind's first encounter with an alien intelligence. Now, Rendezvous with Rama did something that only 3 books in history have ever done. It won the trifecta of awards. It has the Hugo, the Nebula, and the John C. Campbell Awards for Best Science Fiction Story. Incredible. But who was Clarke? Sir Arthur Charles Clarke was a British science fiction writer, futurist, inventor, undersea explorer, and of course, television series host. He wrote the book and co-wrote the screenplay for the 1968 film 2001: A Space Odyssey, one of the most influential films of all time. You can have his book, Rendezvous with Rama, today. Here is what Audible has set up for us. Audible is offering us a free audiobook and 30 days to give you the opportunity to check out their service. To download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/Ron's Amazing Stories. Again, that's audibletrial.com/Ron's Amazing Stories, and you can get your free book today. And now, it's time for your stories.
These are your stories, sent by you, for you.
Well, I do have to say that you guys were great in getting your stories in for the spooky season, and I thank everyone that participated. Our first one this time comes from Heather Flowers, who lives and writes in Orchard, Washington, right here in my own backyard. Heather has sent in this fiction tale that she has titled Roadkill. My name is Ralph, and I took a deal with the devil last year. I know it sounds bad, but I spent a lot of time thinking it through, and I got everything I ever wanted. I thought about becoming invisible. Invisibility is a sucker's game. You can take something, but you still have to worry about being heard, being bumped into, all that nonsense. You really can't do anything fun. So me, I chose to become unnoticeable. Wherever I go, I slip out of people's minds. I can stand right in front of them and they won't do a thing. I can punch someone in the face and they'll just keep walking. It's great. In fact, if you've ever found a random bruise or cut on your body with no idea how it got there, that was probably me. I spent all my time traveling. After all, what's the point in staying in one place to work if I can just steal anything I want? I went to forbidden places, took famous art. I even had lunch with the president. Oh, and you won't believe what's really under Area 51. I know what you're thinking. You'd think it gets lonely. But I can talk to people all day. It doesn't matter to me that they never talk back. After all, I've never needed anyone. Well, until today. I had just had lunch at a sushi restaurant. The numbness started in my arm and spread outwards. I could feel my face start to bloat, and then it became difficult to breathe. At first, I thought it was nothing, but soon my entire body felt wrong. I could barely even see out of my eyes. Turns out, I was allergic to lungfish. Who knew? I obviously needed to get to a hospital, and I started yelling, hoping someone would hear me. Anyone. But of course, I was ignored. I stumbled into the crosswalk, fell to the ground, face on asphalt, unable to move or even breathe. I turned my head just in time to see a green light. The last thought I had before the car rolled over my spine was, they'll never find my body. Heather Flowers, Orchard, Washington. Man, Heather, that is a great story. I loved it and thank you for sharing it with us. It isn't scary, but I think we can all agree that it naturally belongs on a podcast about amazing stories. I absolutely loved it. This next story is a short one from Dave Wattles from North Carolina. Dave writes, "Hello, Ron. I wanted to help you out with stories for the month of spooky, and here's mine. It came from my childhood growing up in Springfield. Hope you can use it. Dave." I was spending the night at a friend's house as a kid, around 13 or 14 years old. My parents weren't home, so we decided to go out and do some ding-dong ditching. That's a game where you ring doorbells, then run and hide. We got home from this about 1 or 2 in the morning. Cue our doorbell ringing. Naturally, we think it's the cops or a ticked-off neighbor. My friend had a small window that outlooked onto the porch that you really couldn't see into from the outside. So we took a peek at who was calling at such a late hour. Standing at the door was an old woman in a dress and a young boy in a weird newsy outfit. Both were dressed extremely out of period. It was the early 90s, and they looked like something we had seen on Gunsmoke reruns. Neither me nor my friend had seen them in the neighborhood before. We ducked down because we were a bit freaked. Then we got up enough courage to look again no less than 10 seconds later, and they were both gone. Nobody on the street walking away, no cars driving away. They were just gone without a trace. Needless to say, we didn't sleep well that night. Dave Wattles, North Carolina. Well, Dave, that's quite a story. One has to wonder if that was a time slip or some sort of blast from the past. Who can say? But it certainly was creepy. Our last story comes from Iowa, and that's all I know. It was left without any other information, and the email was bogus. I decided to go with the story because I like the strangeness of it. If you sent this in, please let me know who you are. I want to give you proper credit. Hi, Ron. This story happened about 3 Halloweens ago, and I haven't told this anywhere on the internet, but I thought I should when I heard you ask for stories. About a week before Halloween, a tall man came to my door and asked some questions that I found unsettling. He had a weird vibe about him, and he was asking how long I had lived there. I'm an awkward person, and anyone else probably would have asked, "What are you doing?" But I didn't question him about it. I told him that I had lived there for 7 or 8 years. He then asked if I noticed anything weird about the house when I bought it. I said there wasn't anything, but he was persistent and asked if I was sure. I told him I was, and then he said, "Were there any unusual noises at first?" This was kind of weird because thinking back to the time when I first moved in, for about 3 or 4 days, there were creaks and groans coming from below the house. But after that, they were gone, so as far as I was concerned, the problem had been fixed. Then the old man left without saying another word, which shook me up. My mind jumped to the worst. Things like, maybe he lived under my house? But one thing was for sure, something wasn't right about him. On Halloween, everything was fine. Kids were knocking on the door and I handed them candy. I had just had a group when one child on his own was approaching, so I thought I'd stay at the door rather than closing it and making him knock. As he got closer, he seemed too tall to be a child. He was wearing a dark mask, a kind of generic monster mask. He said in a very deep voice, "She's under the floorboards," and walked away. This sent chills down my spine as I instantly remembered the odd man asking about the noises. I was again pretty shook up, so I called 911 to tell them what had happened. The police showed up and wanted to know exactly where the noises came from. I pointed to the area and they asked if they could pull up the boards. I allowed them to, but they found absolutely nothing. I've never been able to get over this. I hate how this man knew that there were noises, or maybe it was just a sick joke. I really don't know. But what I do know is that I now really hate Halloween because I never know if this odd man is gonna come back. From a person unknown, possibly living in Iowa. Well, that is a creepy story. I can't imagine what it all means. Again, if you sent this in, please contact me. I have dozens of questions I would just love to ask you. Do you have a story that you want to tell on the show? If you do, we want to hear it. It can be about any subject and from any genre. Heck, it doesn't even have to be true. Original fiction or stories from the public domain are quite welcome. To submit them, head to ronsamazingstories.com and click on the story submission banner. Fill out the form, and soon your story will be heard on the show. Do you have a story but don't want to write it? That's okay too. Just leave your contact information, a brief description of your story, and I'll get back to you. We can write it together. However, if you don't do it, your story remains just that, your story. Why not share it with the world and make it our story? Well, I hope you're in good holiday spirits for our story today. It's actually meant as a Christmas tale, but it's anything but. Do you believe in poltergeists? Well, this story just might change your mind. It comes from the OTR series Lights Out and just might be the freakiest tale we've had yet during our month of spooky. Arch Obler had a way of telling us stories that makes you want to go run and hide in the nearest closet. Not that that will do any good at all. Here is one of the top 30 scariest stories ever from the golden age of radio. It is titled Poltergeist, and it first aired on December 16th, 1936.
Ironized Yeast presents Lights Out, Everybody. It is later than you think. This is Arch Obler bringing you another in our series of stories of the unusual. And once again we caution you, these Lights Out stories are definitely not for the timid soul. So we tell you calmly and very sincerely, if you frighten easily, turn off your radio now. But if you're fascinated by the mysterious, the fantastic, the unearthly, then anticipate chills in our story of Poltergeist.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, that was swell. Now let's go to town. St. Louis woman with her diamond ring, kicking that man around.
No, stop that, Kay.
What's the matter? Am I scaring the horse?
Oh, it seems like a sacrilege singing a song like that out here. This beautiful, clean snow and blue sky.
Well, what's wrong with a hot song to keep us warm? If you think the St. Louis blues is going to dirty up the snow, you ought to hear Frankie and Johnny the way I sing it.
Oh, stop it, Kay. You're not funny at all. Why can't you enjoy the fresh air without that cabaret sort of thing?
Oh, just an old-fashioned gal, eh, Florence? How about you, Edna? Don't you like my songs either? You haven't said anything for the last 5 minutes.
Well, I haven't been listening to you, to tell the truth. I love to watch the snow sort of flow along under the sleigh.
When you say that, gal, smile. Gosh, did you ever see more snow in your life?
The man at the hotel said it had been snowing on and off up here for 2 weeks.
I think coming out here to the country is the best thing we three have done since we started rooming together. Hiking in the snow is terribly healthy.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. The healthier I get, the worse I feel.
Crazy idiot.
She does say the funniest things, doesn't she? I always say that Kay ought to...
Whoa!
Hallelujah, we're here. Is this as far as we go, driver?
That's right, miss. Can't go no further down this road account of the drift.
Oh, my goodness. The drifts are too deep for a horse. How can we walk through them?
I second the motion.
Well, you young ladies don't have to worry none so long as you keep going down the valley over there. Snow ain't piled up that way all the way to Ma Jenkins.
Oh, well, that's marvelous. Come on, girls. Let's get started.
So long. Take care of yourselves, girls.
Come on, Edna.
Goodbye, Miss Cal. Listen to the snow talking at us.
It's very dry snow. Our feet rub particles of it together, and the friction makes a sound.
It's kind of scary, isn't it?
Why?
Oh, I don't know. It's just as if the snow was sort of trying to talk to us. I mean, as if it was angry at our trespassing.
Hey, don't tell me we're trespassing. I don't want any country squire taking any pot shots at my constitutional amendment with rock salt. No, thank you.
Oh, don't talk nonsense, Kay. We're not trespassing. Why, this path through the valley here over to Mrs. Jenkins' house is the favorite hike of everyone who comes up this way during the winter.
What's Mrs. Jenkins got anyway that makes people walk their feet off?
Wait till you taste her cooking.
Eat. Oh, boy, let's go.
It's awfully quiet out here, isn't it?
Oh, that's the glory of it. I've had the roar of the subway in my ears so long. Okay, don't walk so fast.
Come on, look what I found.
Oh, come on, Edna.
Oh, please. Let me take your arm. I'm getting out of breath.
Well, take it easy. There's no hurry. Well, what is it, Kay?
Look, through the circle of trees here. Look what I discovered.
Well, isn't that interesting? It's a sort of a natural amphitheater.
Sure. Say, who was this guy, Daniel Boone?
What's an amphitheater?
Well, that means an oval circling place with rising tiers of seats. It's, like that place we went to for the horse show.
Oh.
Back in the times of the Greeks, they had outdoor theaters.
Listen to the professor.
And they made use of places just like this, where the ground sloped up and made a sort of a natural arena or stage below.
Theater. That's an idea. Sit down, gals, and I'll give you a special performance of the Kay Follies.
It's awful snowy here, isn't it?
I'll trample it down with my spring dance. Welcome, sweet spring.
Isn't she a nut dancing in the snow? If I had that girl's energy.
She's really graceful, isn't she? I'll bet if she went on the stage,
Kay!
she fell.
Kay! Kay, did you hurt yourself?
Oh, did I land on my dignity? Here, give me a hand.
Here, I'll help you. There you are.
Oh, did I take a flop?
Did you hurt yourself badly?
I'll live. What in the world did I trip over? Oh, no wonder. Look at that rock under the snow. No wonder I did a nosedive. Oh,
my goodness. There are rocks like that all over. A person could break their neck if they...
Girls.
What's the matter?
What is it?
Kay, the rock you tripped over. It's not a rock.
What are you talking about? Of course it's a rock.
Well, yes, but it's something more than that. It's a tombstone.
Tombstone? Oh, no, it can't be.
Look for yourself. It says, "Here lies buried the remains of one who, restless in life..."
Stop. Don't read any more. Stop.
And all these other stones laying flat on the ground. They're tombstones, too?
Yes.
Whew, what a place to pick to dance.
Oh!
What's the matter, Edna?
What did you scream for?
Kay, you danced on the grave.
What?
You danced on the grave. I saw you do it. You danced on the grave. Okay.
Edna, stop it. Stop it.
What's come into her? Edna, stop acting
Edna,
like
stop,
that.
for heaven's sake. Control yourself.
Okay. Kay, I'm so sorry for you. You danced on a grave.
For heaven's sake, stop talking like that. Sure, I danced on a grave.
Well, yes, of course she did. It was perfectly accidental.
And what if it was? What of it?
The poltergeist.
The what?
Edna Hanson, what are you talking about? What's that word you just used?
Poltergeist. Okay, what have you done?
You superstitious little fool. If you don't stop talking that way, I'm going to slap your face. What's the matter with you? I didn't do anything.
You walked on the grave. You danced on the grave.
Edna, be sensible. We all walked on graves, but it was purely accidental.
Yeah.
We had no intention of desecrating them.
It doesn't matter, I tell you. It doesn't matter. The poltergeist. He'll come. I know he will.
Oh, what's the use? She's crazy.
Edna, what are you talking about? What's a poltergeist? What are you so frightened about?
My father, he told me, if you walk on a grave, if you dance on a grave, the poltergeist.
Poltergeist what? What is a poltergeist?
An evil spirit. It comes out of the grave. It kills, it destroys. It'll kill us. It'll kill us all.
Stop it.
It's roasting.
Oh,
Stop it.
please.
Lay off that.
Edna.
But it won't get me. I'll run
Edna,
away.
come back here.
She's gone insane. I'll get her. Edna.
Kay, catch her. Edna, don't run away. Nothing will hurt you. Nothing. Oh, Edna, look out. Kay, what happened? That stone. It hit Edna.
Edna, open your eyes.
Blood all over her face. Kay, who threw that stone? Who threw it?
I don't know. It came from the graveyard.
girls. Take it easy. Take it easy.
Oh, Doctor, she won't die. Tell me she won't die.
Oh, no, of course not.
And you're sure that her skull isn't fractured?
Oh, absolutely not. Maybe a little concussion, that's all.
Well, it's almost 5. Our train. Can we get someone to help us carry her down to the station so we can get her on board?
Bored? I'm telling you, that little friend of yours shouldn't be moved out of bed for a week. If you do, well, it might be just too bad.
Oh, Flo, what'll we do? You go home, Kate. I'll stay with her.
Oh, no, you won't. I'm not leaving you here alone in this godforsaken place.
If you stay, I stay too. Kate, please be sensible. Why should we all lose our jobs when you
If
can...
you'll excuse me, you ladies, I've got to be on my way.
Oh, yes, of course, Doctor.
Is there anything more you can do for Edna, Doctor? Any medicine or something?
Nope, I've done all I can do. She's sleeping comfortable now. Miss,
Yes, Doctor.
the constable's sick too, you know, and he's sort of depending on me to keep things straight. Now, just how did you say that little friend of yours got hurt?
Well, it was just the way we explained, Doctor. That rock came flying and...
Yes, I know, but who threw the rock?
We don't know.
What?
That's true, Doctor. We don't know.
But somebody threw it. You can't change facts. Somebody threw the rock that cracked her head.
For heaven's sakes, old man, you don't think we did it?
No, miss, I didn't.
Excited. Doctor, you've got to believe us. It happened just the way we said. All at once, that rock came flying through the air from the direction of the graveyard. It struck Edna, and we just didn't see who threw it.
All right, if that's your story. Oh, you better stay in your rooms here. I mean, you better not be leaving till the constable's on his feet and has a chance to talk with you. I'll be back in a few hours and see how the girl is.
He doesn't believe us.
What difference does it make? We know what we saw.
But what did we see?
She was running. She fell.
Kay,
Well?
let's not fool ourselves. There was no one there to throw that rock.
There must have been.
But there wasn't.
Stop saying that.
Aren't you brave enough to face facts? There wasn't any place for anyone to hide. I saw that stone. It seemed to come down out of the air. So slowly.
Florence, if you don't stop talking like
You
that...
remember what Edna said? It throws things.
Stop looking at me like that. You're giving me the jitters.
She said the poltergeist throws things. Spirit of evil.
Florence, Rob, have you gone crazy, too?
Why should we laugh at things like that? What right have we got to laugh? How do we know there aren't powers we can't see or understand? Powers of evil that revenge an insult just like an evil man. Kay, how do we know?
What are you talking like that for? What are you trying to scare me for? You're supposed to be the most intelligent one of us all. You with your college degrees. Sure, I danced on the grave. But the dead are dead and they can't revenge a thing. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of anything. I tell you, what?
It's Edna.
Come on.
Edna, we're coming to you. Don't be afraid. We're coming.
Open the door, Florence. It's not locked.
Duck, it won't
Here,
do.
let me. Edna, what is it? What?
Edna, what? On your head.
Hey, what's going on here? I run a decent place, and I don't want you...
The girl on the bed. Her head. It's crushed flat in by a rock. God in heaven. It's not a rock. It's a tombstone.
I wish I could cry. But I haven't got any more tears.
Oh, Edna. Edna.
Florence, darling, please. You'll kill yourself if you keep on like that. Oh, if this horrible night would only end.
It was my fault. Mine. I was the one who got her out here. She didn't want to go. She hates the country. But I made her come. I made her.
No. No, you're not the one to blame. I am. I danced on the grave.
But she was so good. So sweet. Oh, why did it have to be Edna? Why?
You're right. It wasn't right for it to be her, was it?
No.
I did it, not her. I did it. I danced on the grave. I danced on the grave.
You can't deny what you see with your own eyes.
But I tell you, Doc, nobody could have carried that tombstone up the steps without me seeing him, could they?
But there it is, ain't it?
Yeah. There it is.
Either somebody's playing a terrible joke or...
You don't have to say it, Doc. I know.
That's just the trouble. You don't know, and I don't know, and nobody knows.
Yeah. And that tombstone.
Well, what about the tombstone?
I ain't quite sure, but that's a tombstone out of the old burying grounds up at the bend.
You're crazy.
No, I ain't either.
Well, that place is a good 3 miles from here.
Yeah. I know.
Who could have carted a heavy stone like that for 3 miles?
Yeah. Who?
Stop looking like that, you flap-eared old fool. Human hands carried that stone in here and killed that girl?
Sure.
Yeah, the constable will find out who did it the minute he's on his feet again. You wait and see.
No, he won't, Doc. You're smarter than me and all that, but this time you're wrong. There ain't nobody that takes in breath and leaves out breath like you and me, or the constable's going to find out who killed that girl. You know that, Doc.
Oh, stop talking. I wish the constable was here and this night was over. It's been a terrible night. Terrible.
Terrible clock. Ticking. Ticking.
Yeah, I know. I've been sitting here listening to it.
I can't stand it anymore. I'll stop it.
Why bother with it?
Come on to bed, Kay. Please. There's no use sitting there. It won't help her.
Yeah. Nothing can help her. But maybe I can help you.
Me?
It was my fault. Mine. I was the reason it happened. It killed her, and it'll kill you and me, too, unless I stop.
No, don't say that.
It's true. But why should you be hurt? I'm to blame, not you. Listen, Flo. I'll go out there.
There?
Out there to the graveyard.
What?
I'll talk to her. I'll tell it I didn't mean to do it.
No.
That I didn't know where I was dancing.
Please.
Maybe somehow it'll hear, listen to me, and then it won't hurt you.
No, I won't let you go out there. It'll kill you.
But Florence...
It'll kill you, too.
But Florence...
No, I'll hold you. You can't go. You can't.
All right.
Come on to bed, Kay, please. In the morning things will be different.
But it won't.
Nothing will hurt us. And then they're right outside the door. They won't let anything get at us. Oh, please, Kay, please come to bed.
Yeah.
We'll pray.
Pray? I don't exactly know how.
Just say anything. Anything. Like this. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. Now you.
If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take.
Kay? Kay, are you asleep? I can't sleep anymore. Kay, tomorrow, when it gets light and everything, do you think people will believe us? Do you think so, Kay? I'm not quite sure what happened. I always used to be so sure about things. And now Kay? Kay, where are you? Kay, where? The window. She went out the window. She's gone out there. To the graveyard. To talk to it. Oh, Kay, why did you go? Why did you go? I'll go out there, too. Oh, she'll be so frightened out there alone. I'll go, too. I'll go, too. Oh, so cold. Hands. Nose so sharp. Cutting my legs. Oh, why did you go out there, Kay? Why did you? I've got to find you. The wind. Oh, why doesn't the wind stop? Blow, blow, thou winter wind. Thou art not so unkind.
Oh, I've got to find you, kid. I've got to find you. It's snowing. I love snow. Edna didn't like snow. Where are you, Kay? Where are you? I've lost my way. I've lost the road. Where are you, Kay? Kay, where are... Oh, Kay. I heard you, Kay. I heard you. I'm coming to you, Kay. We'll talk to it. We'll talk to it together. We'll tell it we didn't mean any harm, won't we, Kay? Won't we? Poor Edna. We can't help her, Kay. We can't help Edna. But I'm coming to help you, Kay. I'm coming. I'm coming. Florence. Here I am, Florence. Yes, I hear you. I hear you. I'm coming, darling. I'm coming to help. I'm coming to help you. I'm coming. I'm coming. I hear you. I hear you calling my name. I hear you. Yes. Here we are, Florence. This way, Florence. Here we are. Yes, I hear you. I hear you. Where are you? Where are you? This way. No!
This way, Hooper. They must have come this way.
Climbing out the window like that in the middle of the night. They must have gone crazy, the both of them.
Well, let's not worry about that now. We've got to find them. Here, give me that lantern.
What is it, Doc? What have you found?
A shoe. One of the girl's shoes.
My gosh, stuck in the snow. We're going the right way.
Come on, move fast. We've got to get to them.
Doc, look at this.
What is it?
Over there. Ain't these footprints?
Yes. Yes. Yes, that's right. Footprints. Hello! Up ahead! Hello!
Doc, we're getting pretty close to the old burying grounds.
Well?
Maybe... Oh, look here, Doc. Let's not be fools. Let's wait till morning.
What? Let those frightened girls freeze to death? Get along.
But, Doc,
You come with me, or the whole town will know what a yellow-livered no-good you are.
All right. All right. You don't have to get so sore, Doc.
Hello? Hello? Anybody up there? Hello?
Doc! Doc, look!
What?
There they are. Up ahead.
Glory be, they're alive. The both of them. Come on.
Doc. Doc, look at them. That's the burying ground up there. And they're dancing. Dancing on the graves.
What? They must be out of their heads. Come on. We've got to stop.
Doc! Doc, wait for me. Oh, Doc,
It's Doc again. Where are they, Doc? Where are the girls? Have they stopped dancing?
Yes.
Huh?
They've stopped dancing. Did they ever dance?
What are you talking about, Doc? We saw them. We saw them dancing in this place with our own eyes.
Did we? The moonlight. Here it comes again. See with your eyes again.
Oh, no.
Both of the girls froze stiff to the ground, each with her head crushed by a tombstone.
Mr. Obler, would you mind telling us, me, whether there actually are such things as poltergeists?
All I can tell you is this. There are authenticated records in existence that, in the city of London on the 27th day of April, 1872, from 4 in the afternoon on a Thursday until 11:30 at night, a certain room in a certain house was deluged by stones thrown from no apparent source. The London police surrounded the house, but they found no trace of whoever or whatever was throwing those stones with a murderous violence.
I see. So much for Poltergeist. But what about next week?
Well, anything can happen, but specifically next week, Mungara. A strange title and a strange story. The power of suggestion. The dictators have shown us to what evil purposes that power can be used. Well, next week, a man who, but that, as usual, is next week.
Yes. Lights Out, written and directed by Arch Obler, will come to you again next Tuesday at the same time. Be sure to listen for the amazing story of Mungara. It is later than you think.
Well, if that didn't send chills down your body, you just might have a broken chill meter. If you'll remember, I told you that this one was listed as one of the top 30 scariest old-time radio episodes of all time. It came in at number 5. I'm not so sure it shouldn't have come in at number 1, but that spot is held by the Devil Doctor from the series The Witch's Tale in 1934. CBS originally wanted to air our story under the title of How'd You Like to Have Your Head Squashed Flat by a Tombstone? That didn't fly, so they came up with Gravestone. Arch Obler, who was an avid ghost hunter, decided that Poltergeist would be the title, and that was that. By the way, in ghost lore, poltergeist is German for noisy ghost or knocking spirit. It is a type of ghost or spirit that is responsible for physical disturbances such as loud noises and objects being moved or even destroyed. How about that? Well, that ends the month of Spooky 2019. We sure had a lot of fun this year. On this particular show, I want to thank Dwayne Watley, Jim Harold, Kyle Moore, Saul Curtis and his mother Mira, Heather Flowers, Dave Waddles, and the guy from maybe Iowa. If you want to follow the podcast or the blog, just head to ronsamazingstories.com. There you will find an amazing number of links that should fit every need. Do you want to help out on the show? The best thing that you can do for us is to tell your friends about it, and please do leave reviews and feedback wherever you listen. This is how podcasts grow. Thank you for listening, and I hope you come again to find out what are Ron's Amazing Stories.
All of the vintage audio used in the podcast is believed to be in the public domain. Ron's Amazing Stories does not own the rights to any of the old-time radio used here. If you hold the rights to any of the shows played, please contact us immediately at ronsamazingstories.com.